All right. Let's see here. I gotta pop up. Go away. All right. Good morning. Welcome to another weekly safety meeting. Today's code item of the week is to strive for restraint, discretion, and integrity. Ben Dow, do you have anything to add on that if you're on here?
Ben's out today. He's
Okay.
celebrating Jordan's graduation.
Gotcha. Then, Dad, do you have anything to add to this?
I'd say this is like my favorite code item. It says it all, and you can. I would think you could pretty much live to every other code item if you follow this one.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. All right, we are up to 58 days without a recordable and 2 days without a first aid injury. It's funny, when we were putting this together, we recycled a couple slides from the last time we talked about ladders, and it was 299 days without a recordable. So if we can shoot for that again, maybe break the 300 line, that would be fantastic, obviously. We've seen a little bit of an uptick in small injuries and a lot of big uptick in like small vehicle accidents and back injuries. So let's try to work safe out there, be smart about what you're doing, and think about things before you do it. Just some safety shout outs. Nate Bellevue and crew up at the St. Albans Digester, the general contractors, told us more than a couple times that you guys have been doing an awesome job when it comes to safety and everything else. And that doesn't go unnoticed. So Phil Forrester was thinking outside the box with some strobe solutions for some vehicles on the highway that didn't already have them. So good job to Nate Bellevue and crew and Mr. Forrester. Just some safety updates. We're making our goal to label all of our hazardous materials that we might have around, chemicals, anything like that. All vessels should be labeled. So just let us know what you have on site, all the sprayers and stuff we want to have. And if you look at these labels, this is an example of what we're putting out. You can take your camera on your phone. If you open up your camera and you put it to that code on the right side of the label, it'll go right to the SDS sheet. So you won't even have to go through Teams or anything else. Just some trends that we're seeing in the field. I saw this 3 or 4 times this week where we didn't have tow boards on our handrails. Just make sure that you're installing your tow board down along that bottom edge. It's the easiest part of the handrail to install, so just take the extra minute to put that in, and that keeps somebody from falling through or keep us from getting a violation. All right, so we're going to talk about ladder safety today. With any ladder, you always want to ensure the ladder is fully and properly set up. So any bars that might go across, any pins that it might have, everything's in place and it's properly set up and all the way set up. You always want to keep your belly button inside the gauge of the ladder. So any of the rail guys out there, you know the gauge is what runs along the beams of the ladder. And you just want to make sure to keep your center of gravity inside the ladder so you're not tipping it over. Always keep I have a little screen. Only use a ladder on uneven ground unless it's designed with levelers and you're properly using those. Most of our ladders don't have those, so try to level off the ground beforehand. Always face towards the ladder. You just want to be, you don't ever want to be looking out away from the ladder because that's when you slip, fall, anything like that, and it also messes with the center of gravity. Maintain 3 points of contact. So if you have 2 hands on the ladder, you can have 1 foot off the ladder, or you can have 2 feet on the ladder, 1 hand off the ladder, but you never want to have less than that. And you always want to foot the ladder for each other, so holding it from the bottom. Before you raise the ladder, whether it's fiberglass or metal, you want to look above, make sure that there's no overhead hazards that you could hit with it. You want to read all your labels. Keep in mind that your weight is your weight with all your tools and gear and stuff on. So if you already weigh, if the ladder's rated for 250 pounds and you weigh 245 pounds, but you have a 15-pound tool belt and a whole bunch of other stuff with you, you should probably get a heavier duty ladder. And you just want to inspect the ladder for any damaged rungs, damaged beams, anything like that. So as you can see in these pictures, some people have gotten pretty creative with ladders. Ladders are not a place where we want to get creative. There's a lot of places where we can be creative, but not with ladders. So here on the left side, you can see that somebody's using 3 points of contact. So they got 2 hands and 1 foot on the ladder. That's good. And then next to that's the prim and proper geometry and everything of a ladder. What I like to do is if you stand on the first rung and you hold your hands straight out in front of you, and if you're standing straight up and down, your arm should be straight and you should be standing straight up and down. Update the ladder back and forth if you have to, but that's the easiest way, I think, to find the climbing angle that's appropriate. We got all these people doing silly things on ladders that we don't want to be doing on ladders. So with extension ladders, you want to ensure that the dogs, which are what lock into the rungs as you extend it, are serviceable and in a locked position. We do still have a couple that have plastic dogs on them of the 16 and 20 footers. Just be extra careful with those because they tend not to lock in super well. You want to tie the halyard, which is the rope, to the base section of the ladder using a clove hitch. If you don't know how to do a clove hitch, use another appropriate knot. And if you don't know another appropriate knot, don't just tie a knot. Learn a knot. Ask somebody to help you and do it the right way. You always want to extend 5 rungs past the top of the object you're climbing onto. So if you're climbing onto a roof or a precast or whatever else, you always want to extend 5 rungs past the top. And you want to ensure that the climbing angle is adequate every time. And if possible, if you can put a 2x4 or something nailed into the footing or something like that on the other side of the ladder, just to keep it from sliding out, that's great. And like I said before, make sure you're footing the ladder for each other. With step ladders, you never want to climb past the advised last step. So most ladders, it's going to be 2 steps from the top. Some ladders do have exceptions, especially the short little step ladders and stuff like that, that you might be able to stand on top, but just follow the labels regarding where you can climb to. You never want to walk the ladder. I've been guilty of this in the past, especially around the house, but it's dangerous and unnecessarily stresses the ladder. And you only want to use step ladders for their intended purpose. You don't want to fold it up and leaned up against something. We have plenty of ladders and we're trying to make sure that everybody has the right ladder for the job. So if you don't have the right ladder for the job, just reach out and we'll make sure that happens. With specialty ladders, which we're putting more and more out there, it's just important that you make sure that all the pins are locked into place. If some of the pins aren't locked into place, then they're not going to be safe and secure. Sometimes they don't go in on their own, especially if they're dirty, muddy, something like that. So they might need a little bit of WD-40 or a little love tap from a rock or something to get them in. Just make sure that you're ensuring that they're all put together properly. You want to watch your fingers and toes while you're raising and lowering. You don't have a halyard or anything like that with these if you're using if it's an extension ladder, and they come down pretty quick. So just be mindful of what you're grabbing onto to raise and lower it, especially lower it, that it doesn't just come down at you. You never want to climb past the last step for the application you're using it for. So it might change depending on the application. So just be extra careful of what the stickers say. And you always want to assess the ladder for the safest way to climb it. I put a picture of the one I have in my truck on here. And I say that because one end's a lot wider than the other. So if you're using it as a step ladder, it's a lot better to use the one with the wide base than the side with the narrow base because they can get a little bit wobbly. So you just want to take a good look at it, think it out, maybe shake the ladder a couple times, see what's up, and go from there. And that wraps up the safety side of the meeting. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. Any questions out there? Guess not. I do like the new ladders, like, what do they call it? The Little Giant with adjustable legs and everything like that. I have one myself personally, and I use it a lot.
And you always have the right ladder for the job too.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
But it has its risk, like you say. It's you know, you don't want it to pinch you because it can easily pinch you if you're not careful. So I didn't get the right screen, maybe.
Yeah, we see your email.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to the, there we go. Stop sharing and reshare. Oh, there we go. All right, can you see my screen?
We got it.
All right. So, hey, it's Mother's Day weekend to everybody. So happy Mother's Day to all our ECI moms. So don't forget to be ready for Sunday and get all that good mom stuff and give her a good hug for us all. So then also we had again, for about the third week in a row I put here, the joining our social media, and we have a Facebook link and an Instagram link. So check it out. That's stuff that's upgraded fairly frequently. And we're still in the healthcare premium holiday, which is really cool. Gives a lot more spending money, but also a lot of people might want to put it towards their HSA contribution. So it's kind of the same tax exempt or tax deferred, maybe, or depends. It could be tax exempt if you spend it on the money on healthcare things, then it's tax free money that you can put into an account. If it never gets used and someday you cash in on it for other purposes when you're retired or whatever, then it becomes a taxable, but it's tax deferred. So we have a link to the ECI Primary Care Wellness Program. And this week we're talking about the Crescent Connector. I assume that Ben Heath is on. Ben, are you on?
I am, and I'll share my screen, Ken.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and take over.
Everybody can see this, I assume?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay. The Crescent Connector, well, we've talked about this project in the past, but we did a bunch of work this winter. And so I'll give you a quick snapshot of what the project's about, and then we can discuss what efforts went in this winter. The Crescent Connector project consists of constructing a new roadway connecting Park Street to Maple Street and a full-depth reconstruction of Railroad Street. It also includes the installation of new traffic signals at Park Street and Maple Street. The project will include bike lanes and new sidewalks, and the entire route will have new streetlights installed. The project includes water system expansion, stormwater conveyance and treatment systems, and street lighting improvements. Construction of the project has been complicated by the presence of urban background soils, development soils, and non-hazardous waste soils. The project progress to date has proven to be a real team effort for ECI. During the 2023 construction season, ECI performed a significant amount of nighttime roadway construction and milling and paving, along with utility installations and concrete streetscape finishes. Our team completed more work during the 2023 construction season than anticipated during bid time. We were able to perform work on the project this winter, which was great for our team and for progress on the project. The caveat to our winter work was that we were not allowed to impact any city traffic, and this project is located at Five Corners in Essex Junction, which is a challenge because there's roads all around us and major portions of the project are adjacent to the roadways. So for the winter work this year, we did a number of electrical components of the project, including the installation of precast light pole bases. We installed 26 light poles and all the conduit and wiring connecting the light poles, duct bank installation with the central portion of the project between Park Street and Maple Street, stormwater components, including drainage manholes and 2 large stormwater sand filter structures and drainage pipe. ECI had to install sheet piles to support the excavation of the sand filters as an unexpected high groundwater table was present. We had done a bunch of digging on this site before and didn't encounter groundwater even at those elevations, and we went to install these this winter and there was high groundwater in sands, and it made it very challenging. For water components, we installed 8-inch ductile iron water line and fire hydrant assemblies. So here's the overall site plan of the project. It's in a very congested and heavily traveled portion of the state where 5 roads all meet at one intersection. And the project includes a new bypass road, which can essentially get you around Five Corners if you're traveling between Main Street, Maple Street, and Park Street. Here is an image of some of the duct bank work that the crews worked on this winter. And lighting. In anticipation of the stormwater infrastructure, we had to locate what we had found an existing utility that was for the railroad that was still active that needed to be relocated. So our team here is locating that and prepping to relocate it. Here's an image of some of our stormwater infrastructure installations with pipe and structures, all in an area that's not within the roadway. or an existing roadway anyways. Here is our team preparing to install the sheet piling or installing the sheet piling for the sand filters. This was not anticipated. We had never planned to have to do this, but the high groundwater table and the subsurface soils led us to this solution, which, you know, it's kind of cool when we are faced with a problem at ECI, we have a lot of tools in our toolbox to be able to just make something happen. And a lot of other contractors would have been in big trouble in this situation. We were able to quickly pivot and figure out a way to do this in a, you know, productive and safe way. Here's another image of us installing the sheet piling. And here's a delivery of the large sand filter precast structures.
It's amazing they put 2 of those on one truck.
Yeah, I know.
That's right.
And here's an image of us rigging and lifting and placing one of the structures into the sheet piling box that we created, and setting of the structure. There was 2 of them. The designers had mistakenly, they had problems with their invert elevations for the project, and we had to do some retrofitting and some cutting of the structure so that we could get the pipes to make connections. Essentially, the pipes were at an angle from one structure to the other, but there wasn't enough room between the structures to actually accomplish the angle that they had designed. So that was recognized, and we had to do a lot of work to get that back into place. And there was a number of these locations that had that problem. There are the 2 sand filter structures here with drainage manholes in the background, and us building roadway and structural backfill over the top, railroad in the background here. Another kind of fun fact is that the crane actually got stuck here in this location, which was, you know, technically sort of fouling the track, and it caused a lot of uproar. The railroad were not happy, the city wasn't happy, and it took us a few days to get CCS to get their machine fixed and out of the way. Here's an image of some of the light poles. We did a lot of these. We have lighting on both sides of the street for the new railroad street that goes from Park to Maple, and there's new lighting all along existing railroad street. All of this work was installed this winter, and it's starting to really shape up out there and look nice. Here is another picture of us doing electrical work and duct bank work. And this is an image of us building the new roadway. More nighttime work on this project. There was multiple portions of this project that required night work because of where we're working and the traffic disruptions, and it's hard on our team to work at night, but we pull together and we get it done. That's it, Ken. I'm gonna
Go ahead.
turn it over to you. I'll leave it here for you so you can talk about the archive.
Yeah, this is the SXY auto switch for the railroad installed in June of 2001. So that's the Y there, where the branch is off, standing pretty much at Maple Street. So at the crossing, standing looking to the south. So we were pretty busy that year. There's a lot of activity going on right there at the same place we are now. We had that work, and there was some extensive work, track work involved, and crossing work, and also there's a little metal building off to the left here that you can't see that we constructed that year for the railroad. And that was 2001. It's amazing how quickly time flies. All right, well, good. I'll pass it back to Tom and Matt and have them wrap it up. Have a safe day out there, good weekend, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
Yeah, thanks, Ben, Ken, and Tom. Excellent meeting. If you're watching a group setting, please let us know so we can capture attendance. If you're on this meeting, we have you already on attendance. It's just the ones that are watching with you. Those are the ones that we need. So thank you very much. Let's have a safe day. Let's have a great day.
Okay, see you.